We'll call to order the regular school board meeting of the Madison Central School District. It's Monday, July 11th. Mr. Brooks will record the members present or absent. All members are present. That establishes our quorum. Let's next stand and pledge of allegiance to the flag, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I believe we have no adjustments to this agenda, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so at this point in time, then I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as published. Mr. Avery, is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Hanemichael, further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approve the agenda as submitted, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Declare the agenda is approved. Next item is approval of consent agenda items, which is two of them. Item number 7, our minutes of the 13th of June board meeting, and our financials and the bill review by Mr. Nelson, Mr. Avery, and Mr. Hanemichael. Anything there, folks, that we need to be aware of?
Looked in good order.
All right. If not, then I would entertain a motion that we approve the consent agenda items.
So moved.
Mrs. Schultz, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Bundy, further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of the consent agenda items 7 and 8 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Number 9, anyone here to address the board? Seeing none, on to item number 10. Mr. Brooks, consider an audit agreement.
So this is our agreement with the auditing firm. ELO is our current auditing firm. They were just as Swanberg and folks that are bought by ELO. The reason it's late is during their consolidation. They had a little bit of delay getting everything over, so they got it sent to us at this time. It is up at $16,500 for the audit. We were a little over 10,000 prior. They attributed it mostly to keeping staffing, the amount of federal dollars they have to review on it, and then time with working with something called a peer review, where they have to bring to other auditing firms to review certain things. So that was the 3 main reasons for the increase to it. Our recommendation is to approve it at this point in the year. There's no other firms taking the audits from the schools.
Okay, some we would normally have done earlier but didn't have the request, so recommendation of the administration is to approve the audit agreement with ELO. Is there a motion and a second to that effect? Mr. Nelson, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Avery, further questions or concerns? Hearing none, all in favor of considering the audit agreement signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Declare the audit agreement. Mrs. Schultz, is this you?
This is me.
All right.
Thank you. Well, I would like to recognize some outgoing board members that have been with our board for different periods of time. So we're going to have a couple different resolutions that we would like recorded in the minutes if possible. Proclamation of thanks. Whereas Angie Kappeman and Keith Bundy were elected and have served as board members for the Madison Central School District for the past 3 years, whereas they served on many standing and special committees. Therefore, let this proclamation be spread upon the official minutes of the Madison Central School District in recognition of Angie Kappeman's and Keith Bundy's service to the students, staff, and patrons of the Madison Central School District. Thank you for your commitment. It says Madison Central School Board in your name and the years you served in appreciation for 3 years.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you guys very much for your time and commitment. Okay, and this next one is from Mr. Farrell. This one might be a little tough for me to get through here. Proclamation of thanks. Whereas Tom Farrell was appointed in 2009 and then elected and has served as a board member for the Madison Central School District for the past 13 years. Whereas he served on many standing and special committees and served as the board vice president for 1 year and the president for 10 years. Whereas he served on the Associated School Board of South Dakota Board, ASBSD, of Directors from 2014 to 2022. Whereas he served as ASBSD second vice president from 2016 to 2017, first vice president from 2017 to 2018, president from 2018 to 2019, and past president from 2019 to 2020. Therefore, let this proclamation be spread upon the official minutes of the Madison Central School District in recognition of Tom Farrell's service to the students, staff, and patrons of the Madison Central School District.
Thank you. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, board members. Thank you, staff. This time I make the motion, we adjourn.
I second.
Mr. Bundy seconds. Non-debatable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. 5:36. Nancy wins the pool.
So, do you have
So at this time, we need to elect our leadership. We'll call for nominations for school board president. If you'd like to nominate, please speak up.
I'll nominate Mrs. Schultz.
Any other nominations? If none, we'll ask that nominations cease and ask for a motion to cast unanimous ballot for Lori Schultz as president. Is there a motion to have that?
So moved.
Rob?
Second.
And by Rich. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And then we'll reseat if that's okay.
Yep.
Or only switch.
All right. Anybody else?
But then that's fine. Here's your gavel.
Thank you guys for your optimism. Okay. Next, on the agenda is the nominations for vice president. I would like to nominate Steve Nelson.
Well, we better have an election, so I'm gonna nominate Jordan Shue. Because it makes it more fun. I know Jordan well enough where he won't hurt me later.
Okay, well, so then we need to have an election. So how would we run that, Mr.
So
Brooks?
then what we'll do, we haven't done this for a long time.
We haven't.
I'll pass out a sheet. We'll write the name of the person that you wish were the two nominated on the sheet. When it comes time to count them, we'll flip them over. And once we hit 4, then we'll have our, get the
This is like a black ball with a marble.
Anybody need a pen?
Ooh, golf
Yeah,
pencils.
golf pencils.
Golf pencils coming in, I want that.
It's from our last election. And then you have them, we're not collect them.
Sorry, I did mine.
Nope, that's good, yeah.
Yes.
No particular order. We'll read them out loud once we reach 4. That's a majority. We have Steve. So reach 4. So we'll ask for a motion to that effect.
Can we recount? Can you start from the bottom?
Okay, so I need a motion, excuse me, that nomination cease and a unanimous ballot be cast for Steve Nelson as vice president.
So moved.
Second?
Second. Oh, yeah. You'll catch up. You see how it goes.
You'll just, okay, second by Ron, all right. Okay, there's a motion on the floor for Steve Nelson to be our vice president. All those in favor of the motion, please vote by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Mr. Nelson, welcome.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah. Congratulations, welcome, whatever it may be.
All right.
Okay, we'll move on now to the approval of the agenda. No.
Are some changes.
with some changes. So, would you like to talk to us about
Yep.
those changes, and then we can go from there?
Few personnel additions to add. Under resignations, we have one from Mariah McPartland, it's actually Van Aspirin now, as an elementary teacher. And Krista McDermott is a part-time elementary office professional. And then under request to hire for 22-23, there's 3 additions. Again, these all came in after the Thursday agenda was posted. Sydney Waldner, elementary music, at $46,500, and elementary music, level 5, 0 years experience, $12.61. Riley Morrison, part-time title aide at $15 per hour, and Shelby Sherrard, part-time title aide at $15 per hour. Would be the additions.
Okay, that would be the agenda, or additions to number 7 under personnel action. Having those additions, would there be any other changes to the agenda, or can we go ahead and approve it as submitted? Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion to approve the agenda, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, hearing none, motion carries. We'll move on to personal action. Mr. Jorgensen.
So under personnel actions, under resignations, we have Travis Johnson, middle school technology teacher, and Maggie Loudenbach, elementary teacher, Mariah McPartland Van Aspirin, elementary teacher, and Krista McDermott, elementary office professional. Request to hire Clifford Watson as technology coordinator at $17.50 an hour to replace Alec Balchi. That'll be effective July 18th. Request to hire for 22-23 Alec Balchi to replace Travis Johnson at $46.05, along with assistant varsity freshman wrestling, level 3, 0 years, $3,114, and middle school football, level 4, 2 years experience at $1,718. Amy Model as science, high school science, replace Philip Tramer, D8 $46,500. Sydney Waldner, elementary music at $46.05, and elementary music level 5, step 0, $1,261. Riley Morrison and Shelby Sherrod, part-time title aides at $15 per hour. And then contract changes for 22-23, remove from Jared Mabon's contract, middle school volleyball, level 4, 7 years. And also then add to Jacob Ludeman, assistant football, level 3, 3 years, $3,114. And also add to Nicole Troxel, assistant varsity freshman girls basketball, level 3, 2 years, $3,114.
Okay. Can I have a motion and a second on the personnel action, and then if we need to discuss anything, we can after the motions?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion or questions on any of those from Mr. Jorgensen?
So some of these staff members aren't certified, but they become certified, or how does that work?
Some will be under an alternate certification process right now that they're going through.
And do we have to pay for somebody to supervise, or how does that work?
In some of those positions, we may have to, yeah. Part of the form that we have to fill out with the state, if they're not fully certified, is to provide mentoring or some way, shape, or form for them to go through. Correct. Yep.
And that's all lined up?
It's all been sent in, and we're lining up those that are going to be helping.
And with these changes in hires and resignations, how many openings do we have left?
Well,
No?
we do, I'll
You'll
cover
get to that
that
in
during
report.
my report,
Okay.
but yeah,
All right,
we've got definitely, I still have some to fill.
okay.
Yep.
Any other questions? Okay, there's a motion on the floor to approve personnel action items. Those in favor, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, next item, Mr. Jorgensen, number 8, consider approval of open enrollment applications 23-2 and 23-3.
Yep, these will be applications now for the upcoming school year. One is actually a student who has been going here and they moved into a different home just outside the district. The other student will be a high school student that will be coming to live for rentals. So both are open ones, we recommend that we approve.
Okay. Can I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor of the motion on the floor, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Hearing of delegations or written communication. Is there anybody that would like to talk to the board tonight? All right, thank you for coming. 10, administrator report. Mr. Jorgensen.
I'll cover a few items. I'll start out with staff positions that we have open. With the recent 2 resignations we had in the elementary with spouses who took new positions, so we have 2 openings. We have a first grade and a 4th grade opening. We have an elementary office staff part-time open, which we've interviewed for, so we'll see where that goes. Accompanist part-time is open right now. We have a custodial position that's still open. We have 5 para positions open, 5.5. I know that today, however, Ms. Kingery had started some interviews there. So once we have those in place, we will bring those forward, but that would be the positions we have open. And then with the change with a couple of these, there'll be obviously some extra duty assignments that still have to be filled in. This group is working on that right now. So those are the openings we have as of today. Capital outlay project, the middle school, high school roofing project over the cafeteria. We received confirmation that it's 100% completed now. The DSU athletic facility, if you've been by there, the groundwork is underway. Last week they moved one of the northeast light poles to the southeast side where that one fell because it had to be moved, and then they'll redirect some lighting, so we're ready to go for the fall. Tree belt to the north has been removed. It looks totally different if you go in there and look right now. I mean, it's wide open. They put the construction fence up. We had a meeting in June, got everything in place, and then I reminded me a place for the ambulance to get on the field if need be, so they walk around and they designated an area for that now as well. So hopefully we'll see a lot of change as the fall goes on, and hopefully we'll see a track in place so we have one to use for the spring. The other thing I'd mention is the ASBSD and the SASD joint convention is in August 4th and 5th. That's down in Sioux Falls. And what that is, it's different breakout sessions the Associated School Board puts on along with the school administrators of South Dakota. If any of the board members want to attend that, Mr. Heinemichael has in the past, I think Ms. Schultz, administrator, I can't remember. You just got to get signed up. If you don't have the information, you can contact Mitch, or we can forward. Did you get an email from Associated School Board yet or not? Okay, I'll forward that email as well. So if you want to attend that, you just have to sign up. They'll bill the school district for attendance at that. We'll have you'll see on the email the speakers that have what's going on. Again, it's just it's 2 days, and even on the Friday, it's not quite even full day. It's only a partial day on the Friday.
What was the title of this one?
Associates ASBSD and the SASD. It's a joint conference, but it's not.
You don't have the topics of the conference.
It's on the email. You should get one from
It's not
Tyler.
and it's not like the official state meeting. It's just a conference, so it's not the training program.
It's not a training program. It's just different breakout sessions that they offer that may relate to some of those things. Yeah.
Would the superintendent attend as well if the school board members go?
I'm attending already.
You're mandatory.
Because
attendance.
it's school administrator South Dakota, so
So
I'm
you
part of
get
that
quality-
organization and have
get-
office there, so I better show up.
We'd get quality Joel time if we went.
Gotta
I
find me.
mean, would we sit next to each other or
You
no?
can find me.
No.
I've got it.
I'm attending.
For breakfast.
Rob had breakfast with me at least.
Yeah.
And then there could be, 15 In fact, I have about 10 breakout sessions every hour. that you can-
And different topics.
Different topics on all of those, yep.
Yeah, I believe I've done those. They're
Yep.
very valuable.
Really good topics, I
Are
mean,
you presenting at any of them?
I am not this year, that's okay.
In the past, which ones have you presented?
It's been a while. We did something with negotiations way back then.
So that's fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
put that on the calendar.
So if you're interested in that, again, I'll forward that email tonight as well. And then you can go down, if you have trouble getting on that link to get registered, just let us know and we can go on and try to get you
And
on.
that's in Sioux Falls.
In Sioux Falls at the convention center there, right next to the premier center. Yeah. That's what I have.
I think Ruby Payne is the keynote this year, who is
yes.
phenomenal
Oh, yeah.
as she speaks towards poverty and its impacts on kids and families. So
Mhm. That should be going on.
I'll sit by if Joel doesn't.
Okay, and you are the liaison for that type of thing as well, aren't you?
I am.
The district?
Yep.
So,
Do you have anything, Mr. Brooks? Okay. I would just support attending the convention or conference if you can. It's really great. There's great training sessions on different things that you want to learn more about as far as public education and
Which days do you
being a
sign
school board
up
member.
for?
What?
Which days did you sign up for?
All of it.
You signed up for all of them? I don't know.
I just love
Yeah, they're pretty good. So, okay, moving on. Oh, yes, absolutely.
I was just curious, is there any discussion currently at the state level about any of the stuff that came through this past year about like the marijuana stuff or anything like that? Any of that stuff been finalized or further discussed? And then also, with the new variants of COVID coming around and what's going on in San Francisco and stuff, do you foresee any changes in our current policy there?
Well, good questions. As far as marijuana, we have everything in place right now, per se, until they change the next thing on us, and then we'll have to make adjustments again on where we're at. But the variant, there again, we pulled the committee together again. You know, I think last when I started looking at here about a week or two ago, we were at 5%. We've got vaccinations in place and stuff now, so if anything, I would see us potentially loosening it up more than tightening it, but I'll say that to the point where we have a major outbreak of some sort, we'd probably be back to the board meeting, see if we had to make a change. So I don't see it being more strict, I see it maybe getting less personally, but again, I'm gonna let the committee go in on that too.
Do you think they'll have a session? I guess I haven't looked at all the sessions, but do you think they'll have one on the, last year they had a big one on the marijuana.
I haven't looked at them all either, but I guess they're gonna have a lot of different. They usually go with whatever changed the most of the legislation last year's section that they highlight on.
Were there any outgoing board members that were on that committee?
There were
Yes,
So,
two.
two of
Plan on
them, so
assigning those?
we'll have to, if there's a couple that wanna volunteer, let me know.
I say let's volunteer some of the new folks.
I'm game for myself.
Steve puts it on.
Because I think
Steve just
it would be
volunteered.
valuable for that committee
Yeah.
as well as for the.
I would just say this, if
board
there's
members.
others that have interest, please just send me an email, and I just can't have more than 3 on,
Yep.
because of the quorum issues, so the more the merrier, just send me an email and we can get on.
It's
Otherwise, they will be appointed
Right.
by the president, I think.
By the
that's
president, yeah.
as well.
Okay, anything else?
Nope.
All right. So the next few items on the agenda, 11 through 16, we can consider as consent agenda items, which means we can come together and have a motion and an action for just one, and then we can pull out any of them and talk about that individually, okay, after we have the motion on the floor. So those under the consent agenda items 11 through 16 would be things we need to do annually. Designate the official newspaper, designate the bank depositories, appoint Mitch Brooks as the business manager, the business, not appoint him as business manager, but appoint Mitch Brooks, the business manager, as treasurer of all funds of the school district, and who the check signers are there, designate bonded employees, designate legal counsel, and appoint the business manager as authorized representative for the food service program title and IDA federal funding applications, and the superintendent as authorized representative for the other federal and state programs. So those would be consent agenda items 11 through 16. If I get a motion and a second for those, to approve those, we can then go out and discuss any we need to. So moved by Rich, and second? By Jordan? Okay. All right. Any of those that we need to discuss or have questions on?
I would just point out that under item 15, designated legal counsel, we've designated a second legal counsel as well. KSB school law, they specialize in a lot of school law, fed law, that type of thing. So if need be, we have a second counsel we can turn to.
And that would be initiated by us, not by referral.
Yeah, and we'll decide if we want to use them for anything,
Yeah.
correct?
Okay. Anything else? All right, the motion on the floor to approve consent agenda items 11 through 16. All those in favor vote by saying aye.
Good.
Nay, same sign, or, yeah, that too. Close enough. Motion carries. Okay, and then we can do the same for the next items 17 through 22. Can be consent agenda items, again, treating them the same way. Approving joining the Associated School Boards of South Dakota sponsored emergency school bus assistant PAC. Approve the publication of staff salaries, which is required by law. Appoint standing committees, appoint surplus property appraisers. Designate regular board meetings as the second Monday of every month at 5:30. And adopt district policies for 22-23 school year. So if I have a motion to approve that and a second, then we can get in and discuss some of those if you'd like.
So moved.
Move second. Okay.
So, that fan is kind of causing me some hearing issues. I hate to admit that, but
You want to shut it off?
no, it's okay.
It's definitely not blowing this way.
Okay. Any questions or discussions on any of those consent agenda items?
And on 19, appoint standing committees,
Yes.
you just went through and filled in names. We'll hand those out to you, and then you guys look at them. It's your committee, so you can put yourself in whatever committees you want. We just went through and like say, Angie, Tom, and Keith, ones that are on, we moved others into those. But again, if you want to swap and trade, that's for your committee, so that's totally up to you.
This is the time to do it. So if you have an interest in something that you see on those committees, please feel free. Should they reach out to
Yeah,
you?
Did you have a
and we'll give you a list,
Yeah.
take a look at them, and then in
Yes.
August, if you want things changed, we'll change whatever the board president can ask for, who wants to
Yeah,
change committees, and we'll
Yep.
change.
we can do that. That's, because we want people
Yep.
where their expertise is at, so, or where their interest lies. Can you talk a little bit about the South Dakota sponsored emergency school bus assistant pack? What
I'm
is
glad
that?
we have it, because our first trip up to,
Yeah,
where'd we go, Belfouche, or where was it, Custer?
Custer, I think.
The bus made it back to Kadoka, so in the middle of the night, we got a hold of Jamie Herman at Kadoka. Luckily, he answered his phone, and then he found whoever else could get into their bus garage, and we got their bus and got back. So basically, what it does, if you sign up for this bus pack, there's no cost. If someone would break down next to Madison, and maybe they came here for an event and then the bus didn't work, we give them a bus to get back. They get the bus back to us. We don't, I mean, it's a service that we're sort of helping each other out. Versus if you're not on it, now do I try to get hold of someone, do I pay mileage for someone to get us transported back? It's a free service. I don't know why any school in the state would not make sure they have the motion and sign up for it, because it's just a cheap insurance policy for us. And even with that, our kids still got home really late, because by the time you got a hold and got another bus up there, it took a while. So it's really,
Right.
I would strongly support that we belong to it. And I hope we never use it, but that we belong to it. And that gets published and then goes out to all the schools that are part of it. So you know, and we put one in every bus, so if a bus breaks down somewhere, they can call whoever, and it's got the numbers listed, closest school, and get someone to come bring the bus out and swap it out. Still up to us to get the other bus towed or whatever, but we can get our kids wherever we're going.
There was an accident with a football bus last year too, wasn't there?
A couple of years ago, yeah, yeah, the same thing. That one, fortunately though, wasn't damaged to the point we could still drive it, that one. The vehicle that was also involved was not as fortunate to be able to drive.
So moved. Is there a move?
Yes, motion, or no, we do have
Yeah,
motion to
motion.
move. So yeah, all those in favor of the motion on the floor to approve consent agenda items 17 through 22, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Okay, consider annual approval of busing proposal from Oldham, Ramona, Chester, and Rutland School District.
This is an annual requirement with Senate Bill 77 from a few years back. Have to have designated pickup points if you're going into another district. These haven't, this is my 7th year, they haven't changed in 7 years I've been here, and I don't know if they changed much before. That's the exact same request we've had every year. We actually put a request into Oldham, Ramona as well for a pickup point from the fact that there's a family where this who maybe live in 2 different households, so we have a pickup point there as well that hopefully they'll approve tonight.
That would be new.
That we had, that was the middle of the year last year.
For us to get a pickup point there.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
I think George got that one. Okay, any further discussion on that? Okay. All those in favor of the motion on the floor, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next agenda item is to consider approval of agreement with the Madison Regional Health System to provide therapy, nursing, and medication aid services. Mr. Jorgensen.
And again, this is a yearly agreements we have with Madison Regional Health. They've done a great job for us. And a lot of this is dictated by IEPs that we have for our students. So we have to have these services, and like I said, they've done a great job for us. And we would definitely recommend that we continue those services with the contracts that we have forward.
And what's the nursing situation for next year?
We're still with our ESSER and stuff, we're still moving with a full-time nurse right now, using some of those funds.
So moved.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
I will give that to Rich. Okay. All right, any further discussions? Okay, this messed up here. Rich, do we have any further discussion on the agreement with Madison Regional Health? Okay, hearing none. We have a motion on the floor. All those in favor vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Now the big one, adjournment of the meeting. Your motion?
I'm not doing it because I'm the vice president now.
You're vice president now. Okay, who's gonna take the role of Steve now?
That was my job.
So moved.
Okay, Jordan, all right, second.
Second.
Okay, non-negotiable, and here's my first one.
Okay, who's second?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Kirsty.
Chris-
Kirsty.
All right, and here we go, adjourned.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.